Welcome back to Mystery Stock. From ghosts to horrifying historical artifacts, there is a wealth of photographic evidence of occurrences or locations most people would find terrifying. In the age of Photoshop, it's pretty easy for anyone to manipulate photos to make your normal everyday pictures into something creepy. While we can't say for sure that these photos have not been altered, we can promise that we've done some digging to learn as much about them as possible. Here are some of the most chilling photos you will ever see. First up, Duchenne de Boulogne was a French neurologist who pioneered research into the electrical stimulation of muscles. He used photography to accurately illustrate his findings. Here you can see one of Boulogne's subjects, captured during one of his experiments. The photographs that came from his experiments look like the patients are undergoing some form of torture. This photo, taken in 1963, is of a supposed ghost known as the Spectre of Newby Church. When Reverend Lord took this photo in 1963 inside the church in England, it was met with skepticism. Lord maintained that the spectre in the photo was not doctored. Let us know what you think about this. Was this just a well-done double exposure? In the mid-1950s, the Cooper family bought an old house in Texas. On their first night in the house, the father took a photograph of the family to commemorate the event. Posed at a table were Mr. Cooper's wife, their two young sons, and his mother. But what is that hanging from the ceiling? A previous tenant of the home, perhaps. I hope you are enjoying this so far. Please be sure to subscribe as we make new videos 3+ times per week. Thank you. Up next, Google Street View uncovered a creepy creature on a balcony in France, and it's now been covered up. On one of the balconies of an apartment block stood a bicycle next to an open blue door. But there was something else on the landing that captivated viewers. A tall, brown figure resembling an alien creature stood next to the bike, looking directly at the camera. I need to leave a warning for this next one. Some people may find it disturbing. Here you see a young Holocaust survivor asked to draw home. But it's been photoshopped so that her face is symmetrical. This one is extremely sad, and I hope this child found peace in her lifetime. Now, this one is a painting, but it definitely deserves a spot on this list. There is no doubt the painting is disturbing. It shows a young boy standing next to a girl doll with hollow eyes and a sad, downturned mouth. But even more disturbing than the painting itself are the stories of what has happened to people who come in contact with it. And this is 19th century anthropologist showing off his shrunken heads from Ecuador. Now, I don't know about you, but I thought shrunken heads were just parts of stories. Humans have been looking to automate bots for decades, but check this out. A young girl brought to life by French inventors in the 18th century. Who knew that this was achieved all the way back then? Not us at Mystery Stock. On first appearance, this photo doesn't look too creepy. It's just a house with people and cars outside. Right? Actually, this is a crime scene photo from the horrific murders that took place on November the 11th, 1974, which inspired the Amityville Horror. Photographer Sybil Corbett's 1891 photo of the Combermere Abbey Library in Cheshire, England seems to depict the ghost of the late Lord Combermere, sitting in his chair. Corbett allegedly set up her camera and took this hour-long exposure while at the funeral of her brother-in-law Lord Combermere. Interestingly, back in the 1800s there is no way they had the technology to doctor this photograph. What do you think? Please do let us know in the comments. We would love to hear your thoughts on any of these mysterious photos. This picture of the supposed ghost of Abraham Lincoln with his widow, Mary Lincoln, was taken circa 1870. It is considered one of the first examples of spirit photography. And now, this was originally taken in 1936 by Captain C. Provant. This photo allegedly shows a ghost that haunts Rainham Hall in Norfolk, England. I'm sorry, we have another heartbreaking one for you. When French authorities received an anonymous tip in 1901 that a woman was being held prisoner at an aristocrat's house in the city of Poitiers, they sent out officers to search the home. They found a skeletal middle-aged woman lying on a straw mattress laden with her own excrement, while insects and rotting food littered the floor. Upon investigation, they were able to learn that the 55-pound woman still clinging to life after 25 years trapped in that same room was named Blanche Monnier, and that her captor was her own mother. In this photo from 1922, a woman stands with her hand on the forehead of a deceased loved one, while a ghostly face watches over. Spirit photography was popularized during the mid-19th century, as cameras became readily available. Next up is a truly fascinating one. In 1912, a spiritual medium named Eva Carrière holds a glowing rod with both of her hands during a spiritual séance. Carrière was even observed by magician Harry Houdini, in an attempt to pick up a few of her tricks. Again, this is interesting because back then the technology to fake this was not around. Here's one I bet you haven't seen. Who is crawling through this photo? These shadow imprints were all that remained of many people caught in the horrific World War II bombing of Hiroshima, Japan. And that was some of the creepiest photos we could find. I hope you enjoyed this. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe as we make new videos 3+ times per week. Thank you so much.